Verden dorje kandoma. We can talk about the role of devotion in Vajrayana. We already touched a few things when we went over the key elements. Devotion is not just a weak emotional thing, not emotion. It's an important, strong, courageous method for accelerating the deepest level of mind. First of all, it opens the heart and dissolving the ego. This ego fixation, we need a devotion. Devotion is like some solution to melt this strong-held ego self. Devotion softens defenses, pride, and resistance, perhaps. Instead of me telling, maybe you might have some kind of experience. So I want you to connect to your own experience, whether devotion is bullshit or, or something really helped you. Not particularly devotion to one particular personality or person, but somehow this create this relationship, and then devotion purified your mind. In Sanskrit, devotion means shraddha. Shraddha means purity, literally meaning the purity of our mind. Devotion is a deva in Tibetan. When translated in Tibetan, we can translate it in English. Devotion, deva is a faith devotion. Of course, there are different levels of devotions or faith that we are talking about here in this context, general. With a softened heart, transformation becomes possible. If we have a very tight, dry heart, what do you expect? Nothing going to change. We need to have this moisture of tenderness, even surrender, free, soft heart. Also, devotion connects you to the blessing stream. This chin-lap we are talking about, this blessing or inspiration. Devotion opens the window. When the mind is open, the blessing is possible. Blessing can enter. Of course, blessing in this context, each of you have this idea or felt sense, might include the clarity or trust, faith, and insight, energetic quickening of practice, enthusiasm, the removal of obstacles. Those things are so important. In the West, we might not like that term, always connect to the blind faith or something like that. But this devotion is completely different, actually. Yeah, it's hard to describe. Of course, it accelerates the recognition of the deepest mind, the nature of mind. Devotion is the heat that melts the ice of grasping. Guru Yoga is the swiftest, fastest method to recognize the nature of mind. In that, devotion plays a role to escalate that process. Lots of practitioners awakened in this lifetime, and there are lots of stories. Reading those life stories also inspiring, I think, for us, these Buddhist masters, our previous great masters. Devotion, of course, unifies the practitioner with guru, deity, teacher, deities. So through devotion, practitioner, we recognize the guru's mind, one's own mind, and the deity's mind are not separate. Deity's wisdom is your own natural wisdom. Think about it. Without the devotion, is there any those kind of things possible? This is the actual essence of Vajrayogini, I feel. Yeah, initially talking about the devotion or something like that, because there are many cases misused in this Western land when Buddhism came into this new fresh land already have this idea of devotion, right? Now you guys are all matured and you know what I'm talking about, and you can already start to have experience of that, the value of having devotion. So that's why I'm just sharing here.
I'm saying two things, like it opens the door to learning, and as that door opens and I experience the blessings, the devotion increases.
Ultimately, devotion to your own guru, right? That's very important to recognize. We have this inner guru, but right now obscured. We need somebody to hold a mirror, and even glimpse into that. Oh, it's possible. In me too. I can see a little bit glimpse through me here. And then we nurture that through whatever laid out. Maybe teacher might suggest do this or do that. And then if you have this trust or devotion toward that, and trust in you, your potential, then that's the kind of, I was talking about engine, engine of this journey.
I really like the offering to a teacher is to follow their teaching, and that's like a good reminder to me if I'm feeling these like gushy devotional feelings. So something that the devotional energy, that emotional energy turns into actual concrete practice in my daily life. And I like that cycle.
Nice. Even this refuge, the main refuge is Dharma refuge. Dharma is a teaching. Devotion to what she or he teaches. That's the most important one. Not blind faith, but teaching or practice or recognitions are important rather than taking refuge in somebody particular in person that I was taught. Take refuge in Dharma, emptiness, for example. That's more important. However, we don't have a trust or the devotion to the one who teaches as an authentic stream of the lineage, then difficult to trust in that. It become like a very dry philosophy or something like that. Doesn't lead to the transformation or synthesize. But I just want to emphasize, especially in the West, what she or he teaches is the most important one. So listen to my teacher's teachings or the practice, advices, then follow that.